So welcome back guys, this is Madhav PVL and today we are going to just discuss about file subsystem in an operating system. So what is meant by a file subsystem? So basically single work can be done by only single person. So whether it is tough or not, that's not the matter. So let me just give a clarity like, so if a work just splits up into different parts, then it will be very easy for this machine to work on. So the operating system has a many parts in it. So it will just divide the work in between themselves and it will just wait for the requests or the outputs which are required for the completion of an executing a file. So file system in your operating system is nothing but it is just a software. So basically user will just get into this files. So basically what is meant by file? So let us just get in deep. So file is nothing but if you just carry something in pen drive, then that is called as a file. Whether it is an MP4 format or MP3 format or JPEG or whatever it may be. So which format it is differ. So basically the things which we are using now is known as a file. Even this video which you are watching in YouTube is also a file. So basically file is nothing but the user will store the data in the form of files in some directories or folders. So what is that? So let us just get into deep. So let us just see now this map. So basically user. So user will just bring some files, like he will just bring it from outsourcing or whether he may just download it from some open sources. So user will bring some files. So when user brings a file, he need to just store it somewhere in his system. So if he need to store in a system, then the operating system of his machine should give him an opportunity to store those files. So now we can just consider some of the operating systems. Like now if you just consider this Windows is a graphical user interface. So in this graphical user interface we can just see here in this file explorer we will have C, D, E, F. So we will have some drives and we may also have some 3D objects, desktop, documents, downloads, music, picture, videos. So there are some special drives even in this Windows. But in Linux, it is a command interface operating system. So basically, doesn't contain any other separate folder names or any some special effects. So it will be a complete raw. So in Linux, the user needs to design or he needs to just know the place where he need to just save that file, and he can just save that file in the path where it is required by the user. And folder is a language which is used in this Windows operating system, whereas directory is a language which is used in this Linux operating system. And this file system is known as a managing files. So file system is managing system. So this is a software in Linux which will just manage the files in between themselves to just spread in themselves to give a proper maintenance. So if this is smooth, then user can feel comfortable in using this operating system. When user sends a file, then that file system will divide them logically, then they get mapped onto the disk. So basically now the user will just bring a file from outside and he will just load it into his laptop, and sometimes he may do some work in this laptop like some word or ppts or whatever it may be, some editable files and whatever. So he will just try to copy them into a disk. Like we shouldn't just call it as a copy, we should copy it as burning a disk, as you had heard it before, like 2 to 3 years before we use it to use this DVDs, right? So DVDs, we need to just burn the data into this DVDs. So how we will just burn the data? So the way they map decide the size of the disk. So basically these whole files which we're going to save in this folder or a directory with the help of this file system will be saved in the form of queues. As we learned before, what is queue? So queue is nothing but it is a data structure which the blocks will be down like that. They will be in some order depending upon something. So let us just keep it aside. So this files will be just in the form of some queue. So when user sends a file, then that file system will divide them logically. So then they get mapped on how they will get mapped onto the disk. So as I said before, the data will be in the form of this. Let us just get into the paint. So the data will be formed of queues, in the form of queues, right? So get into this paint and it's loud. So let us just consider this as a small queue. So in this, it is containing my files dot so whatever it may be. So this is containing a folder of my files. So it will just contain something here, something here, something here, something here, something here, something here. So let us consider roughly this whole size is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this whole size is 6. So now let us just discuss one thing. We may heard about this thing 6 GB, 4 GB, 3 GB. So 3 GB is not there. I was just getting 8 GB. So whatever it may be, we may heard this gigabyte word, right? So what is this? So let us just think. Basically, if our shirt size is large, then we prefer to buy a large rather than a small because it doesn't fit us. So we need to just do the work which will fit us, or we need to just bring something, a device which can just fit or which can just take all these files. So basically, let us just consider a disk. So in disk, this whole files will be just so this whole files will be in the form of a circular queue. So what is circular queue? Let us just get into depth. So these will be divided into a particular tracks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So basically, let us just load into this. So this is the process how the data will be burned onto the disk. So I was just loading all these things into the disk in this way. So this is the last one. So we can just see here, this is empty, right? So this is empty. So we can just get an interrupt like 1 GB data is remaining. We can just see it here, right? If you just get into this my PC, so this PC, we can just see it here. 238 GB free, 234 GB is free, 138 GB is free. So basically, this will get from this interrupt. So if this is empty, then the data which is occupying this will just give an interrupt. So let us just consider how the data will become full. So if we have another block like this, and this is also containing some data, then this data also will be stored here. Then all this whole thing is completely filled. Then there is no space, full no space, or whatever it may be, out of space. So it will just pass a command like limit exceeded. So we can't just bring more files into this disk because this size has exceeded. So all the 7 files are inserted in this, so everything is fine. So we can just get some examples like say this. So this figure is drawn in this paint. So like this, we will just load this files into this system in this operating system. So with the help of this file system managing. So this is about this file system in OS. Thank you for watching, guys.